Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night, talking sip. Welcome, everyone. Want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and hope you're well. And looking forward to a good evening. Hannah, yes, the world is ready. Haha. The world is ready for new leaders, transitional leaders, potent leaders, leaders who are ready, getting away from rubbish the rubbish that we are seeing unfolding before us, you know. So I just want to thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Um, what am I drinking tonight? There we are. A portion of ginger beer, some wine, and some water. Always get the water there, which is really good. You know, that is. But it's a Saturday night, Saturday the 22nd of the 10th, 2022. I want to welcome those who are on Instagram, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, those on Twitter as well. Remember to like and share. And I remember, don't dislike, or if you dislike, I'm going to find you and get you. Um, as you can see, the topic of the show tonight is the world ready for a new generation of leaders. And the topic was coined in light of what we are seeing unfolding around us in respect of the UK, for argument's sake, where we are seeing leaders or persons who purport to be leaders just changing around and like somewhat in a tailspin in a way. But also on top of that, I was reading an article by a classmate of mine from Jamaica, Raymond Treasure, who's a principal of York Castle High School. And Raymond brought up a point about in schools, in leadership as well. So the leadership is not just about politics. Let me get it for record. Leadership is not about politics. Years ago, we would have the likes of the Margaret Thatcher, the Reagan, the Gorbachev, you know, military. Those persons were of stalwart level, I must say. But things have changed so much now, where we're in this advent of the social media era. Social media era whereby things are somewhat different. Someone said if any of those American back at board or the school or the board whereby people are in schools or colleges use because the world has changed. Leaders now somewhat lack, what should I say, the potency. Persons are not anymore being transparent and being themselves. People are now, what should I say, covering themselves with filters. Nobody's real anymore. Nobody's genuine anymore. Advent of the Instagram, the advent of the Facebook, the advent of social media, people are living a fake life. It is fake to a certain extent. But is that the new type of leadership? Is that the new type of leadership which is fake? You know, is it? I'm just throwing that one out there. But hey, you can't start talking sip without having a drink. And I like to ask you what you are drinking, if anything. You know, I'm not drinking much tonight. You know, here we are. Cheers. What else anyone is drinking? Let me know what you're drinking. And if you want to join in on the show, if you want to join in and to be a guest, there's a link that you can tap into. Just let me know. For Instagram is going to be for a limited time tonight because I think the battery is even dying on that phone. Because the main brunt of anything is on Facebook and YouTube. Because here we are. Hi, Suzette. Hey, how you doing? There's a link there. Cheers. If you want to join, let me know. I must say before I even go any further, let's talk about Jamaica for a bit. I saw two distressing things this week. Um, the first one is the killing of the Chinese gentleman in that supermarket or that shop, and it was really gross the way those guys actually pump about 7 shots in the gentleman, killing him there. And 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 one would think that was it a robbery really? Because if it was a robbery, it didn't seem like it was a major robbery to a certain extent. Well, I don't know what's going on there. And that was really sad, totally sad. Of 6, 7, 8 shots that they shot this guy and robbed the place. And it doesn't seem like the gentleman was even going to resist. I think he would say, take the whole place, you know? I mean, these days, people just say, take the whole place, take everything. If somebody's going to um, take my car or my phone, take it. If, I say, my son, if somebody want to take his phone, take it. Just give it to them, you know? Life is more precious, you know? You know? But they kill a gentleman, and that was really sad. And the second one is this young lady. I forget what's her name. She's a social media influencer, Sickle or Sicky or something like that. Forget what her name is. They found her in the water, and that was really very sad as well. Remind me of the Donnelly lady, who they find the body, perpetrator, the policeman. Many people believe that girlfriend is involved with it at this time. But that is really very, very sad. And it shows how life is somewhat a bit very cheap. I always say that if somebody wants you, they're going to get you. Having a CCTV is good, but sometimes it is after the fact. People need to maybe have their own firearm and lick shot, if anything, because it seems like a life is not precious anymore. A life is very cheap. And one cannot even say it is the government or blaming the prime minister. So it is just people who are very wicked. So those two things were very, 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 very sad and distressing. But moving over into the United Kingdom now, is a very exciting time over here in the UK. And I say it's very exciting because while people might say the UK is in a crazy mess and it's disaster and it's chaos and it's calamity, there's a humor side to the whole thing. And I don't know if people have seen a lot of these videos which have been going around. A lot of these videos been going around showing, the Boris coming back on a plane, coming back like it flying in the sky, like he's coming back. And of course he's back. And he's apparently they said he's got 100 signatures, which is going to put him in place to run again to be the prime minister. Hey, what can I say? You're seeing videos with a revolving door. I think I had that last week on Thursday for my show. There it is. A new door has been fitted at number 10, a revolving door. And the show which I had was revolving door at number 9, number 10, October the 20th. That was a show a couple of days ago. And then this one, which is very interesting as well. Putin must go. And Putin said, who must go? Well, Liz just went. And the big question that many people are asking now is, what is really going on? What is really going on in this world? What is going on with leaders? Is this the best? And it's interesting to find out what you think about this. What do you think about the leaders of this world? What do you think about the Boris Johnson? What do you think about what is happening in England? Is it setting a good example? You know, and somebody said something to me. This is what somebody said. Somebody said something to me which was very interesting. You know, welcome, Grando Jamalo. Wow, wow, awesome. Somebody said something to me, and this is what they said to me. They said, Silver, in America, um, Trump, you know, okay, let me see. Who is Hannah? There we go. Hey, Anna, how you doing?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm not
Hey,
showing my face today.
you're not on your
But
face today.
you have my avatar, so that's good enough.
Now, the most important thing is a voice. I keep saying to people
Brilliant.
all the while, but it's a voice. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's very rare for me to find platforms that discuss politics in the UK. I try my best not to get involved for various reasons, but I always like to come from the perspective of leadership because
Yes,
I think Italy just got a new female prime minister.
yes.
And obviously the UK, there's a bit of a tussle between Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. And obviously Rishi Sunak would probably be the first, um, you know, ethnic or Indian prime minister to mount the pulpit of the UK. So
But
I,
did he hear what you just said? Did he hear what you just said, Anna? You said tussle between Boris and Rishi. Where did Boris
yeah,
come from? I thought Boris was gone, isn't it?
yeah. Actually, I thought he had gone myself.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through Twitter. I think I hashtagged Rishi Sunak PM.
Yes.
I just thought this is getting really interesting. And all the prophets have come out to prophesy who's going to be the next leader. But let's leave that by the wayside.
Yeah.
Um, and I did see something. I think it was what's the name of this radio show? Is it LBC? I
LB,
think.
LBC, the talk show. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was shocked to hear a gentleman talk about why he feels like Rishi should not be the PM because he doesn't think he's English enough or British. They were just going around in circles and circles, and the lady just got straight to the point and just thought, "Do you have a problem with him because he's a brown PM?" And the gentleman just said, "Yeah, yes," and I was just
Mm.
like, "Wow." I couldn't believe, someone was just so bold to just clearly state that they don't want him there because and in his defense he said that he can't go to Uganda and be a prime minister if he's white, or he couldn't go to any other sort of country and
Caribbean,
become
African country.
yeah,
Yeah.
or anywhere.
Mm.
And I don't necessarily agree with that because if you're born in the country you have the right to contest for any political position.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, you just need to be born there and become and be a citizen. And any citizen of any nation
Mm.
has the right to contest to become a prime minister.
Well,
So
if the person that was talking to him knew Jamaican politics,
mhm,
the opposition leader now is
yes,
Mark Golden, who is a white man.
exactly.
You know, and the former prime minister was what's his name, Michael Manley. Okay, that
Mm,
was coming out of colonialism a bit, like,
mm,
but at the same time, after you had a black prime minister, Portia Simpson, a black prime minister, PJ Patterson, and you have
yes.
a white potential prime minister, opposition leader, which is Mark Golan. It shows you
Mm.
that at the end of the day, it is the person who is a born Jamaican, just
And I
like White
think there's
Daddy.
yeah, oh my gosh, you just read my mind.
Yeah,
Literally, stillborn. I was about to talk about White Yardie. So
yeah,
the difference with White Yard is he wasn't born in Jamaica. He was actually born in the UK. I think he was on
okay,
the Zizi Mills show on Channel 4, Zizi
yeah,
Mills and Yinka. And his parents, had all their roots and everything in Jamaica. His mum brought him to the UK, gave birth to him, and then he went straight back to Jamaica. So he actually wasn't born in Jamaica.
yeah,
Um, so so that is very interesting. But nevertheless, he's obviously he considers himself of Jamaican heritage,
yes,
and that's just that. So I don't understand why your race has anything to do with your Britishness, or if that's a word, or your English. I don't. It just it doesn't make any sense. I mean, up until 2016, I'd never been to Nigeria in my life.
Yes.
So all I'd ever known my whole life was the
Mm.
UK. I'd never known anything else. So there's actually children that are born, um, from parents who have heritage in Africa or the Caribbean that have never actually been back home. Like I
Yes.
never went back home until 2016.
Yes.
So I don't know anything, and well now I do. But what I'm saying is, then you can just imagine someone telling me that I'm not British enough or I'm not English enough when I've never even gone back to my home country as at that time.
Yeah.
It's laughable.
Because when people ask you your name, when they ask you where you're from, they're not asking if you're from Hackney or South London or
Exactly.
down Birmingham. They actually
Exactly.
where you really from, where.
Exactly. Where are you from? Because you're black.
but but but,
Um.
but let's go into this question, the topic, which is the world ready for a new generation of leaders? Because
Yeah.
as I said in my opening there, and I've been talking about this since COVID period, whereby the world leaders now, they are so sort of, in Jamaica we'll say, a bit fanky because
Mm,
they're not, the level of gravitas is not there. When we
mm,
had the Gorbachev period, the Reagan period, the Margaret Thatcher period, whether you like
mm,
or not, there's a level
mm.
of what should I say, resolve. These
Yeah.
are persons who stood their ground, whether you like them or not, whether you like their politics or not. But now we have these, even with the world Brexit bit there and the European leaders, they're all sort of
Yeah.
wishy-washy. And you make it look like, say, hang on a second, maybe it is because we are also standing on the sideline watching and not putting ourselves forward.
You know what? I think um, there is a new birthing of young leaders
Yes,
in the UK, not only in the black entrepreneurial space and other
yes,
spaces, but in politics. If you look at Zelensky in Ukraine,
yes.
there is a generation of new young leaders that are emerging across. I don't know how old the Italian prime minister is. There's also the female prime minister of what was the country that had she
The
had the
one who
scandal.
went to the party?
Yes. Where is that in
In
Europe again? I can't
Finland. I
remember.
think she's from Finland. Is
There
Finland?
is a new generation of young
Yes,
leaders. I don't want to put an age cap on it and say, below
yes,
45 or 50, but the reality is that there is a new wave of a new generation of leaders that I have seen emerge more so throughout the pandemic and beyond. Um, and I think it's a very exciting time.
yes.
Um, and I think I like some of the representation that's happening. Um, I think somebody commented and said that the Conservatives actually have more ethnic minorities in their
In
cabinet than the Labour Party. I don't know if that's correct, but I need to
I
check
think
that out. I think
I think they're actually saying that they have more ethnic minority in key
positions.
position. Yeah,
Okay.
because of recent days, which was making it very exciting, was you had
Mhm.
Kwasi Kwarteng, you had
Yes.
James Cleverly, you had Kemi
Yes.
Badenoch, you had
Yes.
Swilla Braverman,
Yes.
and the list goes on there. So it
Yes.
was like, wow, these are persons on the front line. In
Exactly.
Labour now, I think in Labour now, the only person on the front line is
Diane Abbott.
Lamy.
I think Diane Abbott is
Oh, that about,
pretty visible as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. But like presently now, yes, yes.
Yeah. But David,
Even though,
yeah, which is quite,
yeah,
yeah. That is quite interesting if you think about it.
mm,
Um,
but
yeah,
they call,
that's
but,
very interesting.
but they will criticize the conservatives of saying that they're superficial.
Superficially black, right?
Not going to go there.
Superficially black, unbelievable. But I think, yes, to answer your question, I think the world is definitely ready for a new generation of leaders. And I think people sometimes underestimate how powerful leadership is.
Mm,
I am currently going through multiple courses to strengthen my leadership skills because I've always, you know, I think I went through a 12-week program, and I think when they asked me to encapsulate everything that I learned throughout the program, they asked me a question,
mm,
and they said, what's your leadership style? And I was like, excuse me,
yes.
you know, and I thought, wow, that's so. Well, for me, I feel like I have a transformational and participative leadership
Did
style in
did
the
did
sense
did
where,
did did you use the word
yeah,
transformational? Is that what you just
I,
said?
I use transformative and participative
Yes.
leadership style. Yeah. definitely,
yes,
of course. Yeah,
because
I think that's yeah.
I'm finding that one standing out a lot.
Mm,
Transformational
okay.
leadership at this
Yeah,
time. Do you
yeah,
think Barack Obama sort of set the stage in a way for this new
yeah.
breed of leaders?
Yeah, I was about to say that because I remember it was
Mm,
yonks ago, um, when Barack Obama made history. And I remember a white gentleman that used to work across the office from me, and he stayed, he wanted to stay in the local bar near our office to watch history in the making. I thought, oh, you're not going home? He said, no, this is history in the making, like the first
yeah,
black president of the United States of America. And when I saw Rishi, um, potentially, moving in that same kind of position. You will not believe
yeah,
on my vision board. I actually have history in the making written on it, and I've had that there even before COVID. um, but I think it's not only about leaders; it's about history makers as well. It's
yeah,
about
yeah.
writing your indelible mark on the sands of time and breaking that barrier. Because you see, when you do something that has never been done before, you make it okay and acceptable for other people to do it,
Mm,
and that's exactly what's going to happen. So it's deeper than just the surface level. It's a whole generation that you're inspiring.
yes, 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 and that is so very crucial, and it brings us right back now to Rishi. You know, I don't know if you know, but many people know that I am a conservative member, and I was in a position whereby I was one of these 160,000 people, these bloody Tories, as they always say, otherwise, that was able to vote, and I did vote for Rishi. I did vote for Rishi,
Interesting.
and the reason why I voted for Rishi, and I make it very clear, was two reasons. I felt that Rishi was somewhat dynamic. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
Rishi at the same time was what should I say, a new type of person, and also I wanted an I don't like the word ethnic minority or
Mm-hmm.
BME, but I
Mm-hmm.
wanted someone who is non-white to be there. I wanted somebody. I wanted to say that I voted for someone like that because one day, who knows, maybe I might want people to vote for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
I was sort of setting an example at the same
Yep.
time because I believe that one second there. Hey Lester, how you doing? You good?
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good. Fantastic, fantastic. Awesome. How are you? Stay right there. I believe that Hannah, that let's say you're having some feedback there. There's a feedback there in the meantime. I believe that it is so very important that a leader is able to be on the front line. And what I liked about Rishi, if anything, when Liz was going through her bit, Rishi would have been on the front line, speaking on everything. He would be there defending his position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and thing like that. Just spare me 1 second before if
So
we went further.
I'll mute my mic. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, don't worry. Let's say you can hear. I can hear you clearly. Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. And
Okay. Is the
Raymond Churcher, Raymond, Raymond, can you hear me? Okay, Raymond can hear me. Anna, I've got an international group here because Mr. Blogging God is from the Netherlands, and Raymond Treasure is from Jamaica. Yeah. Anna, you there?
Yeah, I'm just on mute, but I thought
Oh,
somebody
you
else
just on
would want
mute.
to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah. And Raymond Treasure, how
But
are you
nice
doing,
to meet
sir?
you all. Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings, greetings. Well,
Right.
guys. Well, Anna, you're gonna stay there. Anna, you're not rushing.
No, I'll stay here, but I'll be on mute.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Well, guys. Well, good evening, and thank you guys for coming on to the show. Um, I started off with Hannah, who said she's gonna grace my presence because none of you guys came on to start off with me. So my English sister came on. Raymond Treasure is a principal of York Castle High School, my former high school, and also my former classmate. And blogging God is the blogging God of the world. He blogs everything. Lester, who is based in Netherlands, and Hannah is in the UK here. Um, welcome, guys, and thank you for joining. What are you guys drinking?
Dutch beer.
Just getting ready for some soup. You know, in Jamaica we drink soup on Saturday.
You drink soup on Saturday. All right, that's awesome. I think Corey's gonna come in shortly. Yes, yes, guys. The topic for the day is the world looking ready for new generation of leaders, and Anna is of the view, as so as she was speaking earlier. But one of the reasons why I brought Raymond on as well, because I brought Raymond on because Raymond put an article today. He wrote something on his Facebook page. I want to see if I can find it. But Raymond, you can, until I find it, maybe you can explain. Raymond was looking at a transformational way in education, isn't it, Raymond? That's what I saw, and it was another level of
Yeah,
leadership.
yeah.
Yeah.
The need for us to. I was speaking about the need for us to collaborate as institutions to achieve certain goals. What I find out is that as schools we tend to sit down waiting on the perfect opportunities to do certain things. And the
Hmm.
truth is, it will never happen if we try to go it alone, but we can actually accomplish it if we pool our resources
Yes.
to get certain things done. And I've been pushing that particular narrative at this point. Let
Yes.
us collaborate. All of us we may not have the money, to be honest with you, to put up buildings, to buy equipment, but we can share what we have.
Mm-mm. Okay. And let's your initial thoughts on the topic of today.
Well, it's kind of funny that or even Raymond and Hannah, um, it's kind of funny that we were speaking about this very thing with Liz, being removed, and the UK having five prime minister in 6 years.
Well, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's very strange that we can have third world countries that have presidents and leaders for 30 years, but UK can't hold a prime minister.
Well, for 30 years, but under what sort of category?
um, I was listening to you and Hannah earlier, and
Yeah.
I was thinking about this whole leadership thing and transformational leadership thing on every sphere. Um, what we're seeing now when we hear certain things about the Indian chap in, I don't remember his name, in the UK, and the other lady there. Um,
Rishi Sunak.
yeah, and
Mm.
and British people are having an issue with having a minority, or
An
so,
Asian.
and yeah,
Yeah.
what I mean, like a immigrant or
Yeah.
as leaders. But um as Garnet still said that, you are we are allowed to build your schools, we're allowed to build your church, but we're not allowed to go to the schools and worship them. So they carried us from the Caribbean and Africa and Asia to do all type of things. Remember, the Caribbean, especially Jamaicans, rebuild the United Kingdom after the World War II, right?
Mm.
And we are good to do everything, but we're not good to we're our children are not good enough to lead this country. If you're to look at immigrants in the major countries, the G7 countries, if you take out all the immigrants, those countries will be nothing, zero,
Mm.
especially the United Kingdom and America. Here in the Netherlands, what they're doing now is all aspects of the society. They're trying to include more immigrants and different ethnic people. So, like the police force, they want more black people in the police force to go into the black neighborhoods because they're having so much problems with the white police is going into black neighborhoods, and they don't understand the culture, or the Hindu or stuff like that. So it's very important that we have this transformational policy and inclusiveness. It would be
Mm.
great for the United Kingdom to have a Asian, or a black, um Chinese, or as a leader, because guess what? We would see the importance of these groups rising, coming to the fore. We would hear the ideas, the thoughts, because these groups are the one that have led the charge in building the nation over the years.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just go to Anna and then bring in Raymond. Um, Anna, you're there, yeah? You can unmute yourself, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anna, can you tell me why you'd want Rishi Sunak? Sorry, I'm assuming. I think you said that. Why you'd want
Yeah,
Rishi Sunak to
I'm
be?
totally not gonna. Yeah, when it comes to politics, I kind of stay out of that in terms of who I want to represent the nation for so many reasons.
Okay.
Um, but the point I wanted to get across was about the young generation of
Yes.
leaders globally, not just in the UK,
Yes.
in other nations as well. Because the title says, "Is the world ready for a new generation of leaders?"
Yeah.
And I said yes. And I feel like, and I commented on the fact that Rishi, should he become PM, he would be making history, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like, yes, I think the world is definitely ready for a new wave of leaders. And then I also spoke about the fact that I never thought about leadership styles. I think when it comes to the debate between Boris and Rishi, a lot of people have been commenting on personality,
Yes.
the personality of Boris. And then somebody said, I don't think we should be necessarily be looking at personality. We should be looking at more of policy and whether or not, and the character and whether the person can get the job done. But I think that's a very interesting thing to look at when it comes to leadership, because I was looking at charismatic personalities and leaders,
Yes.
and the fact that there are pros and cons. That people, the problem with charismatic leaders sometimes is that, one, they can always tend to be arrogant, and they can, base all their ideologies and their beliefs on themselves rather than looking at the wider picture, and then that kind of affects, um, what they actually set out to do, the mandate for which they were, put in positions of authority. So, I think, just to, encapsulate that whole word of leaders and leadership, I think it's very important for people to not to only be drawn in by just personality styles or personality types, but to actually look at the policies and the change that those leaders
Yeah.
want to enforce. And just to touch on that, currently at the moment, I'll talk about a leadership, um, you know, battle that's happening in Nigeria, where I'm from, where we have the APC and PDP party that have been around forever, and then we have Peter Obi, who was part of, the PDP party, but he's now joined a completely new Labour Party. And because the youth want change in Nigeria after NSARS that happened in 2020, he has galvanized a massive following in a very short amount of time. And it's not just based on personality and charisma, it's based on the change that the individual wants to enforce. So, whilst the world is ready for a new generation of leaders, these leaders also have to be accountable to the people and ensure that they're providing them the change that they deserve and need. Right now in the UK, we need change.
Yeah.
We need some form of stability, and we need something to happen that will create change for the
Mm.
generation to come. Thank
Uh,
you.
thank you for that, Anna. Very well said. And you mentioned something about charismatic because a few persons were saying in regards to even the UK, let's move away from the personality. Let's look at the whole leadership structure because everybody's talking about personality. I bring in Raymond. Raymond, you're a deep thinker when it comes on to leadership as well, and being on the cutting edge of creating leaders in Jamaica through your Castle High School. What's your take on the topic and also the UK as well?
Well, yes, the world is ready, yes, for a new generation. My problem with the new generation of leaders is that they may be brilliant and have wonderful ideas and will operate well at the corporate level. Politics, as you know, is kind of different from the corporate world because you can afford to be a manager in the corporate world and survive. In politics, though, you still have to be able to convince a constituency or convince a party. And I think that is the problem that Britain has been having. And the world at large is not that the leaders who are there are not brilliant and don't have excellent ideas, but somehow the politics is missing. The charisma that was referred to a while ago is missing. To be prime minister in a democracy, based on Westminster style, you must be able to hold a majority in the parliament. You must be able to hold your party together. And if you cannot hold your party together, you are going to have a situation where you change 5 prime ministers in 6 years. It's not that those leaders are not bright, and it's not that they don't have sound ideas, but somehow they lack the influence over party members, over their delegates and so on. Until you can hold your people together, until you can have some level of influence over the party that you lead, it doesn't matter how good you are in management, or how good you are, in managing the economy, you're going to have a problem. And you will be changing maybe again in the next year. So the question is how
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
How can we get this new generation to understand that it's not just about managing a company, it's about holding some level of influence over the party that you lead, over your backbenchers, that kind of thing.
So the key question though, and you sort of made a distinction by saying it is not just about getting new type of leaders, but it's about how you can sort of wield level of influence. So are you saying then it is not about new type of leaders or new colors of leaders or new race of leaders? It is about leaders.
Well, politics, the truth is politics is still politics.
Yes.
And you have people who have to understand that politics has not really changed. So you can be a genius in the corporate world and get the job done there. But politics has not really changed. You still must be able to hold your party together with different minds and all kind of things.
Yeah.
And obviously, some level of charisma is critical in politics. You still must maintain consensus and work the party based on this Westminster model. Maybe if it were based on the presidential system in the US, of course they would probably last their term, and Trump would have lost popularity about 2-3 years into the thing. But they had, based on their constitution, they had to wait. Even impeachment could not get around. But in Britain, you can change in 5 days if the backbenchers revolt.
Yes. One of the things though is Hillary Clinton maybe still waiting in that room, or lots of people are still waiting because they were expecting this new change, this new ceiling, which was going to break for Hillary Clinton to become the president. And I believe in the UK, everyone is expecting Rishi. That's the big thing now. Just like we had America with Barack Obama, everybody's waiting for Rishi to break the ceiling. This new, are we talking about him becoming a new prime minister, a new Asian prime minister? Are we trying to say that it will make a difference, or it may make a difference, Lester? Let me just bring in a couple of persons while you're answering that, Lester.
For me, I listen to the top educator gentleman here, and I understand what he's saying. I disagree somewhat, because the last time we saw Jamaica having a very charismatic leader, he was void of political aptitude. and he almost crashed the economy. It was a very bad period for Jamaica in the 70s. It has to be a balance. I don't know how much charisma play in holding things, because we have had other leaders around the world who lack charisma but were very good leaders, and
Yes.
they held the fort down. So I don't know how much charisma played in holding the fort. You know, once you have a good
Yeah.
understanding with your backbenchers and your even your front benchers, you know, you can hold strain. The thing is that we have to understand evolution in politics, evolution in the society. What do we want? Where are we going to take the country, right?
Yeah.
We are seeing a shift around the world where younger people are entering the political landscape, and
Yeah.
with the persons who were born after the independence or after the war, and such. So the thinking is different. The needs of the country and the society is different. So we have
Yeah.
to look at that.
Okay. I just want to thank you, Lester. I just want to say welcome to Alex. How are you, Alex?
Yeah, greetings.
Greetings and welcome internet resident Corey. He says he's on the internet, so that's what he's called, internet resident, right, Corey?
Quite so. Quite so.
Quite so.
Quite so tonight.
Quite so.
Greetings.
I know. Good, good. I know, Alex. I know you're on the road, Alex. So let me give you an opportunity. You know the topic. I don't know if you have been listening. The topic is about: is the world need a new generation of leaders like yourself?
I mean, the world need a different set of leaders. Yes, we do. I mean, if you look at it, you know, what I mean, in several forums, you know, what I mean, I'm one of the most controversial man worldwide right now. Um, as a young investor, millionaire, you know, what I mean, family orientated, doing things self-made right now. Different scope of financial entities in terms of how governance is being structured in capitalism, the way that banking systems are being operating at a deficit of debt, creating wealth, and in itself how digital assets in terms of banking and finance on a wider scale for the poor and minority of the commoners to access money, monetary system. So when we come with digital money, zeros and coding and binary options, so the average man in China or India with a larger population and Africa, the continent, of persons who want to be incorporated in the whole global scheme of things. And when we look at the internet and how the internet with Starlink right now connecting the world, the governance of the world has changed, right? My peer Elizabeth, RIP, right? That crown there in England. My regards to the family, right? But the era of the British government, it is of the fact that it is change, right? It is change. And the diaspora and how you see the wealth, how it's been shifted right now in terms of power. If you look at even the British government, what they did, them give Guyana and other countries, Peru and so on, based on the natural resources and emerging economy, them natural resources, then give them free visa access to the UK. Why? Because they want to access the people and resources. It's all simple and plain and straight. So these people only feed off a people box where them most of the resources can be accessed and use politics to actually incorporate what's benefit to them. You get me? And they do it to Scotland, they do it to other places, especially Africa, in a sense, and them keep on the same facade of thinking. No. How we can change as a younger generation right now, the old thinking need to change. We're all human and equality, racism still stems. White supremacy, right? Insignia, oh, the queen, even the crest them rare. People stand up on a black man neck and all them thing there. We have to talk out about them thing there. Kanye West put a t-shirt to All Life Matters. White lives matter. Yes, white life matters. A Chinaman life matters. A black man life matters. But the fact about the matter is we passed that. We're in a generation right now where money is so readily accessed by a wider population that we, the younger generation, understand how money works. Because for the black in itself, the institution of governance has blocked the knowledge how really money works. How many black family have the financial capacity to have financial conversation around the dinner table? Not many. And it's not that because it's not institutionalized and incorporated like how the Japanese, when I was in Japan, the Japanese teach them one of them how to actually from birth, from inception, how to work with each other, clean up after each other, clean them classroom and that, how to socialize before even talking about a certain etiquettes of human relation. So the society itself has failed the people. And that comes from government. Government. Meaning that things that you have appointed to rule us. So I personally, the people is the government and the government is the people. So the new thinking like me, you know, me not a regard for the government. I am the government.
Alex, I must say though, and we're on Corey after. This is what I'm talking about because, like I mentioned, Raymond was talking about the school bits. You're talking about the finance bit, and we also talk about the government bit. So the leadership aspect is not just talking about politics. I think that's something I need to make clear, and I'm glad that you came in, Alex, from the monetary side because the old
it's
way of
all
doing
about
things,
the money.
the old way of doing things is also
money.
changing.
The banking sector need to reform, and Jamaica has got Jamaica in itself. I'm very proud of Jamaica because Jamaica has moved themselves into a new biometric database, which is a link, which is a CBDC, central bank digital currency link app, just like how America have Cash App. Jamaica has taken that move with Nigel Clark, big up himself, labor right government, still good government. I've seen it, I've said it. You know what I mean? They've done good things. Things that transform the nation on a wider scope. Right? And this is not bashing a next color government or whatnot, but the forward thinking, I've seen it, but we need more of that. And the old dinosaur way of thinking, the reform of finance in terms of payment, politicians and House of Lords and upper house and lower house should get a basic pay. And then they will see that the common man, how them can live on a threshold of such of a basic pay. So that need to reform. So a young thinking Alex. Mind like mine, we put them in that position and see how best they can feed them family. They can't.
All right, Alex, thank you for that. I'm bringing Corey. Are you there? Are you on the internet, Corey? Let's go to
hello.
No, let's go to Hannah. I want to bring in you on this point here. Let me just mute
Big
let me
six.
just mute Alex.
Yeah, all original. That's fine.
Anna, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hannah, my colleague there, my friend there, Alex, brought up this point about money.
Yeah.
And the way of how things have been for a while. And we are seeing with the whole advent of crypto. I'm not saying I'm looking at the bigger pictures, like the whole leadership is going to come from in all different aspects, in education, in politics, in finance, in music. I mean, Kanye West many people say Kanye West is crazy, but he's touching some areas where people fear the touch in a way and shaking up things. What do you think about
can you talk about the stuff that Kanye West is touching upon that others are not ready to touch upon? I'll be interested to find out.
I'm sorry?
What you mean, but what are the areas that Kanye West is touching on that others are scared to touch on?
No, I just use that as an example there. But if I'm going to say about Kanye West is touching about all the control on the music and the Jews. And
Well, the control of the media. The media conglomerate in the United States.
Yeah.
And when I say media, I'm talking the news, television, newspaper.
Yeah.
And the internet on a whole is controlled by the Jews. So what Kanye is saying is that when you look at the Jewish media or the Jewish conglomerate that control media on a whole, they are profiting off black pain, black death, black suffering, right? And he's saying that if one Jewish person does something, it is more centered around that one Jewish person. It doesn't affect the whole Jewish community. If a black person, a black rapper, does something, right, the narrative is painted about black community and the black people are like this. So he's saying that why are we feeding this Jewish media? Why are we enabling this Jewish media? But yet still we are not benefiting from the Jewish media. When you look at 2020, the record industry in America made over $2.2 trillion, right? While the artists only got $2 billion out of that. And there's a great disparity. That's why a lot of more artists are going independent. So he's basically saying we as the black community need to have equity. We as the black community need to start looking. We don't need them. We have the answers. Just like you always saying, Silver, we are the media. Why don't we get a person like Alex who understands financing, right? And teach financing, push financing into our communities, into our black schools, into our black churches and stuff like that. Why don't we have our own, like Tyler Perry has a studio? Why isn't Tyler Perry and Oprah and Jay-Z collaborating and make a big conglomerate studio like what SKG was? You know, so he's saying that we have the resources. What we're not doing is that we're not uniting. We're splintered,
putting it together. While the Jews are united.
Why did you? And they're also profiting from us. You know, so and even he went broader to like even the basketball teams and the football teams. The 30 NBA teams, right? Only one is have a majority owner, which is black, which is the Charlotte Hornets, owned by Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know? But when you look at the other 29, they're all Jewish. In the NFL, it's the same thing. You know, so we have seen where the NFL have blocked out Colin Kaepernick because he decided to take a knee against the racism that's going on there, against the oppression against black people by not.
But watch this now, link. Watch this now. But watch this now. Me add to the point. But more of it, want us to dig deeper into what we're seeing. New entrepreneurs going forward. We need a change. Watch this. Games on a whole game, whether it be basketball game, baseball game, football game, games, Olympic Games, World Cup, no matter what game it is. It is designed by the fraternities of order to keep you occupied. That's why we create TV, right? So we keep you away from the real matters at hand. Now look on this now. We have community of people, whether it be a Christian or a Muslim, community of people. What we need to do as black nations of people, because me an Indian man, but I still consider myself a black man. Community of people, what we need to be thinking about is remove the names of countries in terms of, let me go in a detail what I mean by that. In a country, when them label and say Jamaica for the United Kingdom, these are called groups of nations of people. However, the identity is that race. They only want China man, black man, this and that. But we are one family of people. However, we have different groups of people because we eat different things and so on. So what we need to understand is with a digital currency, we can create in the same black community, just like how you have a Facebook group, Silburn TV have a group of people, me have an audience of people. We can create a digital asset currency that is backed by the people using the utility of that finance and create money. Yeah. So that's what we need to talk about, the money. So now people don't understand that it comes with the finance. Once the black people, I mean I put black because black people spend the most money on commercial things, designer clothes and whatnot. Once we stop to buy their brand and create your own black brand, individual groups, and have a monetary system that the whole group of people believe into, and to trade that own particular digital asset. You know what that means? That means that the whole financial sector is revolutionized. Money is going to be changed into groups of people, between people wanting to do that. And the governments called governments, the fraternities, the power be. These people have no other choice. What am I gonna do? Ban all of it can't happen.
But Alex, wait,
So
Alex,
we're in
question
a
you want to
scope
ask
right now
Alex.
with quantum computing. With quantum computing right now, this is the biggest problem that is happening right now. That is why you see the whole pandemic and so on. The governments of the world, the G7 in particularly and 8, they're trying to find a new way of creating CBC currency, central bank digital currency, to roll out to their government workers so they can control those people and make those point of sale businesses be the ideal place to do business.
But Alex, we can
One
ask you
second.
something. Alex, if you create a group like that, Alex, that means outsiders would have to use our currency to purchase in that group.
Alex, I think Alex is with his family
Go
there.
again.
Alex,
Go again.
I'm gonna let
Go
you go
again.
shortly, Alex. Yeah, go
No,
on.
more hear the question. More hear the question, Silver. Let's
I'm
make him
saying
Alex
with
question.
what you,
So
with
the
what you
question
said,
again. Yeah.
with what you said, I like what you said, but I'm saying an outside group would have to use our currency to purchase things in that we are trading among
Exactly.
ourselves.
Exactly. So you could monetize everything there, whether it be music, culture, food, anything that is yours and labeled to you. You get it? That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. That's a real power right there.
I mean,
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
building out
Good.
an e-commerce
All right, Alex.
business.
Alex, I'm gonna let you go now, Alex. Yeah. Are you're still okay, Alex?
With the family same way, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna thank you for that contribution, Alex. Yeah. I got a couple more people coming in. Yep.
Yeah, man. All
Alex?
right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, man. Respect. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
We'll have to all create this monetary financial platform eventually. You know what I'm saying? You educate us. All right, Alex. Cheers. Let's go back to Raymond. Raymond, what's your Anna? Guys, sorry, I might be missing. Anyone who want to jump in, just jump in. Corey, sorry, Corey.
From Korea.
Yeah,
All
Corey.
right, no worries, man. No worries.
Yeah.
The
Come in,
thing is this,
Corey. Come in, Corey, and I just
building
come in
out an
Taiwo at the same time. Hi, Taiwo. Corey, you
Hi.
talk, and then Taiwo, you can come in after. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And Anna, feel
Building
free to
out
come
an
in as well.
economy.
Yeah.
Right. Ready for me, Silver?
Ready every time. Ready like Freddy. Yeah.
All right, good. So building out an economy is always good, all right, and driving it through e-commerce with digital currency, so that you control any variable that may be rogue is very good, all right. But coming back to leadership is understanding the paradigm of particular leadership style. Raymond mentioned charisma and how charisma play a great part in leadership. But I mean, no matter what leadership style you have to command that space, that paradigm, so that you speak to individuals who connect to you in that paradigm. Autocratic, transformative, whatever the leader style is. And what has fallen foul of great leaders, or even adapting leadership style, is theory of mind. And if you understand how theory of mind work, is that you can always presume that somebody is thinking is actually evident in their actions. All right, and I'm saying this, Lester can be wearing a green suit, but he's a diehard PNP supporter, right? So not necessarily, yeah, right. And I'm using that. I am using that broadly because it was brought up in the forum earlier. You understand me? And vice versa. Is what I'm saying. So you may assume that this individual is thinking that he is going to a particular rally, and you may want to discourage or encourage based on what you see. You understand me? But socializing that individual to their current situation, whether it be that it's poverty, crime, the economy are crumble around you, you need to speak to that individual who is going through that particular thing at that particular time. So the charisma and the connection based on your leadership style must be translated to that person. Now, when you're fixing a problem, and we have noticed that in the United Kingdom, there are a myriad of problems out there. The Brexit did not help at all, right? So you have one leader who is addressing a particular situation or issue with the hope that they can steady the ship and still maintain the house. Silburn, you are sitting in the Conservative Party, the current administration, which is, it is not quite popular at the moment, and the drive is to make sure that you answer John Public's question so that when it comes election day, the polls represent, right, some sort of win for you, right? That sort of thing. Now you have other parties who are now campaigning on the downfall of the current administration and using rhetoric, not necessarily meaning that they can solve the problem, but it is silly season, it's prime opportunity to convince the person in a particular way, not necessarily that when you know power, your leadership style or the charisma that you use will continue or carry through. And that's where we have the problem. The general public do not understand leadership style and cannot identify when it is just rhetoric and speaking to the issue, the current issue. Too many yes men out there. Right? We have great policies. We have great policies that are not translated because of your politics. I'm bringing that, and I hope you understand. And Lester, you can time me before Teo, right? Because if a man is hungry and you can sustain him for a week, he may be close to you for that week, but he's not necessarily a supporter of your party.
Let's bring in Taiwo.
All right.
Taiwo, are you there? Show your face.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Hi, good evening, everybody. I was, and then I just saw this tweet on, and I thought I'm always trying to come on and put my, but we have to do something as a community. Quiet.
We're losing some words. We're losing some words in with your high tech equipment. Are you guys losing some words with Taiwo? Yeah, we're losing some words.
Okay, 1 second. Let me to make sure you don't have feedback. So I have it all coming under. Let me just use the mic and take off the speaker here. So should be fine.
Yeah, Raymond, are you there? Yeah.
Okay, so
yes, I'm still here. I'm still here.
And Anna, you're there. Yeah. I'm gonna after some point going to the type of leadership. Yes, go ahead, Taiwo, please. Yes.
Yes. So sort of mid flow.
Yeah, we're still losing some words. Just let you know that though. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's because some stuff in the background. Stuff. Oh dear. I can't long things. Let me turn off the video. Be all right with.
Yeah, turn off the video and see if it works. Yeah.
How is it now? If you can hear me, is it better now?
Lester, it's still there, isn't it, Lester?
Maybe if I.
Yeah, it's still cutting out. Yeah. You want to?
Or is it still choppy?
You want to reconfigure?
Oh, okay. Looks like you can't.
Are you there? Yeah. Thanks, Hannah, for coming on. She had to go. Yeah. Taiwo, maybe you need to reconfigure and come back in.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but yeah, we are losing some words in between.
It's my fault. My bad. Let me just
Taiwo,
that side.
Taiwo, we're losing some words with you. Maybe you need to come again. Wheelbert, don't lose your shirt. Wheel and come again.
Okay, let me see if I can
come out and come back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, Raymond Treasure. let's go back to you. Picking up from what Alex said regarding the financial bit and the bigger picture of everything. As we know, we're not just talking about politics, but we're looking at a worldwide shift in leadership in a way.
Well, personally, I think that in the corporate world, new leaders are coming to the fore and they are doing their thing and doing very well at it. I mean, 10 years ago we weren't talking about Tesla and those things. No, we are talking about a new generation of leaders in the corporate world. Where we are not seeing that shift is in politics, and I think the point I've been making, and as you know, whether we like it or not, it is politics that holds all of these groups together. Is a politics that brings everybody to the fore to contribute to the greater good of the society. And I'm saying what I find happening is that let us look at Jamaica. There are new leaders operating, in the Jamaican economic landscape, new people that were not here 10 years ago. But what we find lacking is the political. The political is not holding the system together. So as a consequence, you get the impression that the country is not doing very well, because the political is not putting the policies that are critical to the expansion of the economy, I mean, when you listen to what is happening in Jamaica, you think that Jamaica is total chaos. The reality is there are people who are doing exceptionally well in different areas, but you need politics to hold the things together. And I find that a lot of these young people who are doing well in business, doing well in education and the different sectors, they may be doing well, and they may even decide that, okay, let us take a chance in the political realm. But at the end of the day, they don't survive. And I think the point I was making is, and I think that another person, I think Corey made a point too, that they may do well out there, but somehow they are not able to hold the things together in the political realm, because to hold things together there, you must be able to hold your constituents, to hold the party together. Britain has given us this Westminster system that revolves around party, revolves around holding delegates together, and that's where we are having the problem.
So do you think that the Westminster system is now becoming obsolete?
Yeah, I think so. And unfortunately, most of us here in the Commonwealth, that's what we use.
Raymond, I was having a discussion today, and somebody's can chip in on this, and they said that if an American president is going off the rail, they can impeach the person, and they can still be impeached and they still survive for the tenure of their time.
Yes.
Unlike Nixon, of course.
Right.
But they said the British system have a way whereby they can remove leaders quickly, just like what we are seeing now. Even though it might be a little erratic and it may look like it's chaotic, but the level of transparency and accountability is so crucial, whereby that can happen very easily with the British system. So one is saying, okay, while it is deemed to be chaotic, but actually it is a very good way of actually protecting the nation.
Is it then, Silburn? Because you have to look at from another angle. Accountability, being responsible, and looking at governance itself, wherein there's a mistake that has been made, and the option, not a matter of fact, it's not even an option, right? The route is resignation, right? So you hold up your hand, I've made a mistake, I can't carry through. And that is a culture at, the British, in British politics, that is a culture, whether it's cowardice or a brilliant jab at being responsible, you come out and say, look, we can't go no further. This is it. This is what I have done and whatever, and you resign, you step out of the way. Unfortunately, in other jurisdictions, in other territories, people will hold on to it, and it becomes a dictatorship. And the people feel like, guess what? You can't even get a slap on the wrist. Why are these people still in power, representing us, and they have done great wrong, right? So that now erode the trust, the confidence that you will have in the system. And what is happening with young people is that have ideas, they have opinions, but their opinions take very long to become policies, and they can't stand behind the opinions. Understanding not that they are not heard, because do remember some of these stalwart Jurassic, you would call them, politicians started young as well, right?
Yes.
But remember,
young,
the foundation of any political party is its ethos. You understand me? What it built on, and it changed that. Not really a party. You understand me?
Before dance. Yeah. Can I bring in Raymond? You're finishing a point when Corey came in, and then go to, and we hear what Taiwo is saying, and then go to Lester. If Taiwo is okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
No, let's go to Raymond first, and then we'll go to Taiwo.
Yeah.
Taiwo,
just
it's on okay,
sound.
Taiwo, yeah.
No, man, I think I'd finished my point. I think the point I was making is that there are many young people out there who would want to come into this thing, but is their ability to hold groups together to win. I mean, there are some brilliant young people here in Jamaica who would make excellent political managers. And notice I use the word managers, but I'm not sure if they are good leaders. And if you are not able to hold your people together, and let us get it straight. You mentioned that the Westminster system kind of keeps people more accountable. The truth is, as you know, to keep yourself in power, all you need to do is to make a couple MPs feel good, ensure that a couple constituencies have access to certain benefits, and you maintain your power. If you're not able to do that, then the truth is, in 6 weeks you're out, in 50 days you're out, because you're not able to keep a few people happy, to make a few people comfortable, which has been the situation in Britain for the past 6 years. In the case of Andrew Holness, he has been able basically to keep people in line, make them feel good, and in the process has managed 2 terms, and will probably get a third.
Okay, I see the angle we're coming from, like with Andrew Holness, is a classic example whereby you can see a very firm hand, I should say, not in the firmness of being rough or anything like that, but a firm hand. But I'm going to ask you this question, Raymond, as a educator, what do you see with the new breed of young people coming up, new leaders coming up? Because remember, we grew up on the Gordon and Burchell Whiteman, and these guys nurture us. As you are now in that position now, what do you see as a new breed of young people, leaders coming through?
Well, educational leaders in Jamaica now are far more innovative, I think. In those days, they were disciplinarians.
Yes.
These days, we have training in management, in business, and we are thinking about how we can access more funds, how we can integrate with institutions not just in Jamaica but overseas, to bring greater benefits to the young people in Jamaica. In those days, I mean, when we thought about Mr. Gordon, we thought about a man who basically was there to ensure that we behave ourselves.
Yeah.
These days, my students, when I return for every term, they are asking, what are the new innovations you have for us, sir? And those are the discussions they have. They are coming to me with proposals as to how we can expand the curriculum offerings. These days, students are coming to say, how can we partner with institutions in the United States so we can get into American universities? So these days, they talk about educational opportunities, not about caning and all those things.
Yeah. Taiwo, before going to
Yes.
that, Taiwo, I just want to check how are you? How are you now?
Yes. Is the sound better now?
Yeah, we can hear you. There's no cutting out. The sound has been good. It's just a cutting out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hope. Hopefully, let's hope it's steady. Let me see if it will remain steady with the camera on.
Yes.
I turned it off. I turned it off just to. So let's see if it's
Yeah,
good now.
it's
Okay.
good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
you're talking about leadership. You're talking about a particular tweet which you sent me, and well, you can elaborate on it in the whole scheme of the discussion, Taiwo.
well, that was just an LBC clip where
Yeah.
the caller, a member of the public, called into an LBC radio program and was essentially saying that the candidate for the position of one of the candidates for position of prime minister,
Rishi Sunak. Let's say it again.
yes,
Rishi
Rishi
Sunak.
Sunak
Yes.
is not British.
Yeah.
Even though he was born, I think was born in Southampton. Went to school, I think it was Winchester, I think, or so, public school. So, and the caller made the comparison saying that if he was born in Uganda, he can't suddenly go to Uganda and say he wants to become president of Uganda because he is white British.
I think my earlier colleague Hannah was highlighting that point earlier.
I see. Okay, so it just caught me unawares, and I thought to share it with you. It is the question which I suppose maybe more people have on their minds than we might think, but this one caller was brave to go on air to say what I suppose some people, not everyone, some people, and it could be from various segments of the community, are wondering, whether Britain is ready for someone who would be considered to be an ethnic minority to take the reins as prime minister. That's basically what it is, and I don't know whether the country is ready or not.
Okay, let's zero in the point there. Before I go on to, let's zero on the point. Do you think the world is ready for new leaders, transformational leaders, young breed of, as someone said, you got the Finnish lady recently, even though she was at a party. Italy, you see Brazil is backwards because Lulu is actually trying to come back as well. What is going on there? But where do you see there's a level of repulse I could sense within the British public, as I say, this is rubbish. What is going on here? You know what I mean? We need a general election, or we need new type of leaders. They are not, the integrity is an issue. The substance, the character, the integrity, So what are we looking for? What do we want to see?
I think, so I'm just following on from what I said earlier. I think for most people, the central issue is not whether a person is an ethnic majority or an ethnic minority. I think the vast majority of the population don't really care,
You
there
think
may
so?
be some people like that caller. I think so, because frankly speaking, most people would rather have had somebody in the job that knows what they're doing, that didn't. We've had a shall we call it a minor economic shock recently as a result of the mini budget, and well, that's just my characterization. Maybe but I think most people would rather that didn't happen, and now that it has happened, if there's somebody that people believe has the expertise, the knowledge, is able to carry people along. I think they'd rather have that person
They want to
in
play
the role.
safe. They want to play safe.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is not about who the leader looks like. This is not,
Personality factor.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not the leadership is there for the people. The leadership that is there to look after the affairs of the country as far as it affects people like you and myself. You know, mortgages, healthcare, the environment, climate.
Yeah.
There are so many serious issues
Okay.
at
Yeah.
stake here. One that is probably worth mentioning for for what it's worth is what was going on I think it was Friday when
Yeah.
there was the fracking bill,
Yeah.
and
There's some Jocelyn and they also come on.
well, yeah, and there was and it was a mandatory vote, the whip and all of that, and I felt like probably a lot of, I'm not I'm not an MP or anything, but I
Yeah.
just felt, I remember when I heard that on the radio,
Yeah.
I was quite
Taking
I
them back.
was shocked. I
Mm.
was shocked because um I mean, whether you believe in fracking or not, I think that the MP that represents a local community, a particular area, should be able to vote representing what the community that he or she represents think in respect of fracking. This is
Mm.
not a small matter,
Mm.
and to say that you must vote one way or another because that's the party line, I thought that is just not.
On. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
mhm,
Yeah.
that's all I'm
Okay.
saying. Yeah.
Let me just bring up here. There's a point in leadership here where transformational leaders, and I'm gonna bring this home to you with your leader, not your leader, with the Prime Minister of Jamaica. The kind of leadership that always aims at transforming and improving functions and capabilities. Do you think that Andrew Holness, and I'm putting this out there, do you think that Andrew Holness is that type of leader which is what the world is seen as needs? A transformational person who is very innovative and not really from the old school.
Yes, and although he's the first prime minister of Jamaica that was born after
Yeah,
independence, um, he's coming into a mold. He's coming into a system that has been operating a particular way, and this system thinks a particular way, and he is operating basically on the fringes, because he's trying to move away from the old time type of politics.
yeah,
And when you look at persons like Delroy Chuck, Carson Muda, the older heads in the party, the things that they say, right, sometimes rub people the wrong way, because these guys are in their 70s. These guys have an old type of narrative, old type of thinking.
yeah,
And even within their constituencies, you don't see that type of, and not just them, but I'm talking the older politicians. You don't see that push of transformational um, development. You don't see that transformational thinking, you know.
mm,
But what is happening is you have young people coming into the system that is saying, do away with the old people, do away with the old system, right? And so there's going to be a tussle there. What we are seeing, what we are seeing in Andrew Holness is that he has for the better part held a balance between the old guard and the new guard coming in. He can't get everything right. He can't
yeah,
please everybody, right? I can say this here. If it wasn't for COVID, right, we would have seen a higher GDP growth, but we'd have seen some landmark changes in the landscape of Jamaica right across the board that many people would have been uncomfortable with.
mm,
Right now, what needs to happen in Jamaica and right across the Caribbean is we have to kind of push away party lines for a bit and do what is best for the nation and the future of the nation. But with that comes your political capital. With that comes your political mileage. You know, even the recent things with the Bernard Lodge lands recently, right? What he did was the right thing, right? In terms of you know the whole climate surrounding that. It was the unpopular thing to do
Yeah.
because of the sector of persons who it affected. But we cannot play blind to because somebody is poor or presumed poor that we're going to allow them to continue to break the law, that we're going to allow them to impede development. You know, I mean, so it's a very tricky balance. He has brought in certain persons in key areas like Dr. Nigel Clark, right? The governor of the Bank of Jamaica, my good little friend there, can't
That's
remember.
I don't know. I forget his name.
Yeah, but he is a known People's National Party supporter. He's a
Yeah.
known member of the People's National Party. But when I saw him bring in um this gentleman, I'm saying that as a party person, I'd be upset. But when I look at the track record of this man in the private sector, what he has done, right? And I'm saying, well, that's the right man for the job.
You're
Was I
talking the Bank of Jamaica governor.
Bank of Jamaica governor, right? He's a known PMP man, right? But this man also has an impeccable track record of results, like great results. What we have seen over the past 4 years or 5 years at the Bank of Jamaica, great work, So I
Okay.
mean, and so this is the mindset of a young leader because this guy is older than Andrew, but Andrew saw the quality, and he got advised that this guy's a good guy.
Yeah.
Put him in place of position so that the country on a whole can have a steady hand and steady stewardship in moving forward. So this is what we need. But young people are going to shape stuff, and the world economy needs it. But it also needs steady hands in guiding them politically and socially into the future.
Well, let's bring in then. What should I say? Corey, do you see Andrew Holness as a transformational leader? The type of leaders that the world is looking for, moving away from that old school, moving away from that Biden thinking, moving away from person just say things from the yesteryears. And I'm looking at this from an objective perspective. That does, what do you say?
All right. Okay. If I should put it on a scale of 1 to 10, him as a transformational leader, I'll put him 6 transformational and transactional at 4, because he's got to balance both, because he also is a prudent businessman, a business head. And what I've realized, I mean, on even striking a balance from both parts, it's always been driven through business heads. So you make sure that in your network close to you, your advisors, they're all business people, right? And what is happening is that young people are actually saying, "Oh, I had that idea, yeah, man, it's a good thing that, yeah, I was just thinking about that," and they can see opportunities based on the avenues or the pathways that have been opened up, being transformational, right? And having the network, to set the goals and drive, not necessarily the entire country, because it's got to be partisan, drive the policies forward, to accomplish those goals, whether it is popular or unpopular. You can't negate that. So stripping back to just the neutral and what the country need, not necessarily the partisan politics and this kind of business. Drive the economy. You need a leader that is both transformational and transactional, right, in this current climate, because that's where young people, that's where innovation lies right now, right this like that.
Thank you for that. Gary Graham, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm
You're
good.
good.
It's good to be back with you and talk and sip and with the blogging god. Not calling any names.
Blocking God. Have you got something sipping? You can't be on talking sipping or sipping something in the
Yeah,
boss.
man, we have something now. It's stronger than the blogging god right now.
Stronger, stronger than the blocking God. What is it? What is it that you're drinking, Gary? What's so
Oh man,
stronger?
that's a secret, man. Blogging god can't get
That's a good one. Um, the Gary, the topic of tonight is about the world needing leaders, a new type of leadership in this world. You know what I'm saying? Is the world ready? You and I have been speaking about this for a while. Is the world ready for a new generation of leaders, a new type of leaders? We spoke many times about the fact that the world has lost leaders with gravitas, leaders with resolve. There's always something they say about American president. I always remember this about the American president all the while, is that whenever the American president say, we the American people, we resolve, whether they're going to make a wrong decision or not, they made a decision and bomb is going to fly or whatever like that. We the American people, we resolve. And it seemed like that is lacking. And the UK has demonstrated a sort of gap in the sense of strong leaders. But with the world that we're in now, with the advent of social media, the advent of the Barack Obama period, what are we looking for now? What do you say? You believe that the world, it's not just the UK, and this is not just about politics, because a colleague came on earlier and was talking about finance. Raymond Treasure, who's the principal of York Castle High School, talks about how to actually have um, teachers actually teaching into different schools, whereby one is the teachers teaching at Westwood and that school there, and actually bringing everything together, a new type of thinking. What's your take, sir?
Yeah. If you remember, some time back, still going, when I shared with you and I did say that the leadership of yesterday, for
Yeah,
instance, like um, okay, across the board, United States, United Kingdom, and let me bring in the Caribbean, Jamaica, and such. The leaders of yesterday, at least they worked from something to something in the sense of um, war, world war. They, for instance, in Europe was completely devastated.
yeah,
So what did the powers or the leadership of that era do? They had a plan, like the Marshall Plan, to rebuild Europe, and out of that, leaders came out of that because they knew the effects of war. They knew what war could do. They knew the devastation of war. United States, um, the majority of the leadership of the United States, such as and you mentioned the presidency, most of them were generals, or they knew exactly what war was.
yeah,
So at least they were able to move from something to something. In Jamaica, let us say like the prime minister or the prime mayor, such as Bustamante,
yeah,
um, not Norman Manley, and such.
mm,
They um, they 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 were coming out of slavery, let us say more or less, or from poverty or whatever it was, and they had a vision of making Jamaica great, of really putting in nice roads, giving the people the education, not only the fair skin, high color people, but black people like myself and such. So they had a vision.
yeah,
Today, the leadership of today, what's their vision? What are their goals? Where are they mainly coming from? High flying,
yeah,
wonderful financiers.
yes,
They appeal to the leaders of industry, the leaders, of business and everything like that. Lawyers, look at the House of Commons, for example, within the UK, who fills these areas? Isn't it mostly lawyers? People who studied law. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but is that all that MPs can be? For back in the day, as far as conservatism was concerned, if you look at that party comprised of businessmen. You understand? Businessmen, men who worked hard, men who knew what it was to start from scratch and have big business. In the Labour Party, it was, let's say, the common man. If I'm thinking right, I'm not saying I'm perfectly correct on that, but I'm saying showing that there was a difference from where people led from. Now today, young people, they're looking on people like yourself, Silborn, and like the blogging gods, the and like people who, let me say, have made it or are making it, are trying to, make life and make money. That seems to be the ink thing today. And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. I'm just saying at times, the people who are in leadership today across the board, they don't really have any, they're very immoral in their living. But people are not looking at that. They're looking at success. But they're not looking at success in their living, in their lifestyle. So that's why the young people of today, they are let down badly. They don't know who to look to. They don't know who to put their trust in. Because yes, I can look successful. You can look successful. And then they will then place us in positions of leadership. But my lifestyle, example, Boris Johnson. I mean, he's been a letdown for a lot of people because he can't tell the truth. He's had so many women wrapped around his finger or them wrapping around their fingers. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. So leadership today, leadership for the generation of today is lacking. It is lacking woefully.
Silver,
I'm going to go ahead, listen. Go ahead. Listen.
You know what? I was watching a bit with Trevor Noah this today, and he was talking about the whole thing with Liz Truss, and he asked a question, and I've been saying to myself since the whole resignation of Liz, is there nobody else in the United Kingdom that is seen favorable? I don't know why Boris' name keeps popping up, because I'm saying there's a particular reason that he had to leave, right? And he didn't leave willingly. He didn't leave with his head up. Why is Boris' name still in the runnings? And there are so many young persons, there's so many bright persons in both parties. And I'm saying, isn't anybody saying, why are we talking about this man?
Well, Gary and I had a discussion on my show on Thursday night, and we were saying, why are some persons like Graham Brady, who is 1922, these guys who know love respect, that can actually go to the prime minister and say, time is up, you know what I mean, based on the signs on the wall. There was this other guy that was the big loudmouth guy. Remember when we were doing Brexit, the Attorney General, I forget his name. That guy has some gravitas as well. And yes, you're right. The question is, and I'm in a group with a lot of conservatives as well, and a big debate is going on. I mean, why Boris' name is in the mix? Why, but at the same time, Boris could actually have to step down again if he wins. You know, you have to step down because they are going through this ethics things. The point, though, Gary, and this is what Light Speaker said. Interesting point, Reverend Graham, and everybody can pick up on this. And I'm going to go back to Johnny Barnes' bit here. When Johnny Barnes said, to get racism out of football, it's a bit difficult or almost impossible because racism is already in the community. You got to get racism out of the community.
In society.
In society. So therefore, the world that we are living in now is this IG, Instagram world, this fake world where the potent leader is not there because everybody's in mask, everybody's filtered, everybody's trying to cover themselves, and nobody's actually being real. So therefore, that is why I believe, Gary, and it's unfortunate now that the type of leaders are coming up now are from this type of era.
But Silver,
Yeah.
let me add, and I'm sorry to hug the line. I was going to bring up the bit about the Instagram era that we're in, or social media era that we're in.
Yeah.
I am 43-year-old, right? I have young children.
Yeah.
And when like my son is 24, and he would say to me, why you always in politics? Why you get out of politics? You know? And his mother's side is from the orange people them. And he has said that he has seen his grandmother for years wave the PMP flag, and she has not gotten anything. Now, one of the bravado and one of the appeal of the present Prime Minister of Jamaica is that there's an air of success around him. There's an air of youth around him. There's an air that, because okay, when you look at, although PJ was successful, you didn't see it, you didn't feel it, and you couldn't connect it because he's way older, his mannerism was different, his style was different, you know.
When you're finished, I would love to come
Raymond is coming that, yeah. Go on, Raymond.
Yeah,
and when he's finished, when he's finished.
Yeah.
When you look at Michael Mander, Edward Siaga, who had some type of success also, right? You did not see it or feel it. But what these young people,
somebody have a feed, somebody have their thing on?
Ask Raymond to mute his one, please.
No, it's not Raymond. It's not Raymond.
Hello?
Go on, keep talking.
Yeah. So, but when you look at Andrew, when you look at this present generation of people, they are saying when we look at leaders, the leaders must reflect a particular shine, a particular success, a particular aura, right? Because when they look at the older leaders, they did not see that. And as Alex said, you follow the money trail, right? Now, the currency, the money, the wealth, the fame, the popularity, that is the currency right now. And a lot of people may have criticism for Andrew by calling himself but he didn't do that by using the moniker Bro God, right? But this is also part of his charisma. This is a part of his reach. The Clarks, turning up at events just like the Finnish leader. He went to many social events. He had dub plates from the reggae and dancehall artists. What the young people are demanding now is that if you are going to lead us, right, we have to see some type of success, some type of shine, some type of leadership in a way that we can better our lives, that we're not going to continue to support you and our mother, or we are not going to struggle like our mother has struggled, our grandfather has struggled, right? The last election in 2020, when I speak to many of the MPs, new MPs are the older MPs, when they went into known JLP areas, the young people are saying, what have you done for my grandmother and my mother? What are you going to do for me? This is the question.
Right? Are you trying to say that is what people are looking for, the way, Lester?
Yes.
Lester,
I would love to come in now.
No, come in, Raymond. Because I don't really like that. But if I really
the election results will show that the current Prime Minister is the most unpopular Prime Minister Jamaica's ever had. That's a reality. 400, less than 500,000 Jamaicans voted for the current government. Less than 500,000. So if we are to go by the poll, the majority of the electorate in Jamaica did not participate in this election. So what we have in place is a minority government. So technically, the young people that we are referring to, there's a disconnect. They're not a part of this process. In fact, a number of the young MPs who are current, and that has always been the challenge, I think, with the Jamaica Labour Party government. There's always been this focus on economic growth at the expense of at the expense of social development. So what you find happening is that some of these younger MPs, they are not necessarily connecting with their constituents, and that is why the older politicians will continue to. I hear Warmington the other day making the point that he's the only MP that has had over 11,000. In fact, outside of Golden, these are basically is the older MPs that have amassed thousands of votes from their constituencies. The younger ones barely actually won their seats. And I can tell you, if Mike Henry runs again, if he puts it on himself to run again, he's going to win again, because I find that the older MPs connect more, they carry out more developmental projects in their constituencies. But Andrew is not as popular as we are making him out to be. He's a minority leader, let's face it. He's not. He does not have the majority of the population behind him.
I mean, before Lester comes in, I just like to say, and I haven't got the figures, but based on what you've just said, Raymond, there about the older and the younger in the voting. I mean, I would probably say, even here in the UK, that if the older MPs were to run and are running, they get more. I'm sure they get more votes than a new MP coming in. Why? Because they've got a track record, and most of them don't have baggage carrying behind them or baggage with them, because they've got the experience and they know what it is to lead. And I think that is where the leadership, there's a difference in leadership style, because the young people, this generation wants leadership. This generation wants to see leadership. But
all right, can I ask a question?
No. Sorry, let Gary finish, and then I want to pick up something from somebody said something.
Yeah, the young leaders, they're not seeing, or the young leaders are not leading because they have nothing to lead from. There's no vision. They're not able to express where they're coming from to where they want to go. So obviously, the older people now, the older generation, in my mind, in my eyes, from what I am seeing, I may not be right. I'm not saying I'm right. But from where I stand, a lot of the older generation, when they look on us, let's bring us into the picture. When they look on us, what are they seeing? What are they hearing? What experience am I bringing into the frame to show that I am able to take things through? Because a lot of us, we can't, because we haven't done anything.
Yeah.
We've been born with a silver spoon in our mouth. Yes. Our parents paid our way through college. Right. As soon as we finish university, we land a great big job in Goldman Sachs, and we think that we have it. And that, my friends, cannot mean that we have what it takes to lead a country. It just can't happen.
And Gary, you're so right, because what is happening now is most of the type of leaders that we have, especially in the UK, at the top level, there are persons who went through the ranks just like that. Then they become advisors, and they get a seat, and they become leaders. Somebody said something earlier. I just want to make sure that I bring in people from the viewers. Light Speaker said, and they have nothing to lead from or away from. That is leading against war. Someone on Instagram said, our young people are struggling with let me just turn this. You have a background thing is Leicester. Yeah. Our young people are struggling with trust and hope issues. They are the future. So are we going backwards? Racism not going anywhere. That was picking up on the point when you mentioned about society, and that if the society is actually manifesting or breeding type of person with this IG era, then those are the those are the type of leaders we're going to start seeing, especially when they're younger. Support. That's the reality of chasing our tails. Our young people need a platform of change, engagement, and empowerment. I want, before Corey come in, I want to just bring up that point that Lester said, and I found it very concerning, even if it's a reality. I'm not going to dismiss reality, but it's very concerning if young people actually wanting to see leaders looking successful, or what they can do for them or what they can do for their family in order to be empowered and to be inspired. That is a wrong way of thinking. And I think as leaders and as elders, we've got to somehow change that mindset as much as possible, because that is really pork barrel sort of curry goat sort of politics. Yeah. But let's go now. Lester, we're gonna come back to you, but I want Corey to come in.
All right. Vern, I mean, I don't do politics, but my organization, we have to
Everybody keeps saying they
fulfill.
don't do politics. I'm sorry.
So, right.
Everybody do
No, no,
politics,
no.
but you don't
I'm
want to talk
saying, no,
about
no,
it.
hold on, Silver.
Sorry, Corey.
Hold on, Silver. All right.
I know. I'm just
As a
winding up.
host,
I'm
I
just
know,
playing with you, Corey.
no, as a host and a moderator, you have the power to kind of ask and steer it in a particular way. But I
Yeah.
also want to maintain this as a disclosure that, I answer questions and how they are presented, and
Yes.
I always try to maintain a balance so that my people listening here can understand, because guess what, learning take place, right? And if you
Yes.
try
Yes.
as individuals as to out from the yob politics, right, open their mind, understand that they're different type of leader, and whatever the charisma that is used to get you into that forum or that sitting for you to vote for the individual, sometimes it may not be the right thing for the next person sitting beside you. And let us
Yes.
go to the popularity poll, right? Now, I the leader who is quite popular in the COVID times, which have to make strong decisions as to, who can move and, impose in currency through. I would like to see our great poll that reflect the individual versus the imposed sanction or things put in place for COVID
Mm.
containment. Now, if you have a poll from September 2021, where people were unsettled because of COVID, of course you're gonna, right,
Mm.
irrespective of the administration, because guess what, people's livelihood disrupted. You understand?
Mm.
And a lot of the blame was laid squared at leaders globally. So this is not a Jamaica, right? This is a global
Mm.
issue, all right? And let us be fair in our discussions, okay? Now, let's back to the Instagram leaders.
Mm.
Now, I believe the advent of social media should be used to reach the people, to educate them, and what you take from whatever lessons that is put out there, right? It's you can't be held for a man's interpretation, but you
Mm.
can be accountable for facts. You understand me? And once you put your facts out there and you have great representation to it, and probably a hand on the shoulder to say, this is what I mean, I have no
Yeah.
problem with social media and reaching the people.
Mm. I want to put that point about social media and reaching the people. I think no one is actually hitting at social media, reaching the people, or using social media as a tool, because I use it. I think what I'm looking at and what I'm saying is that the social media or influencers, or so to a certain extent, are persons who somewhat have a fake lifestyle. I mean to say that they are not sometimes real, they're filters. So therefore, it is not talking about it in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense as to the type of leaders that we are seeing coming out now. No one want to be potent where they unmask. We need to have the unmask. Be who you are. Be transparent, and don't just try to protect yourself. And that is what is happening, where people are protecting themselves so much, and you're not seeing genuine leaders. Social media is good, and it should be explored, and it should be used as a tool to reach people, to the mass. But we need leaders of gravitas and soundness.
Silburn, let me go back to what I said earlier. Maybe you misunderstood.
Yeah.
Maybe you misunderstood what I said.
Yeah.
Now, persons are saying, when you look at our community, we have not had water for 40 years, right? But the Jamaica Labour Party has got our vote for 40 years. What are you going to do? My grandmother carried water on her head. My mother carried water on her head. My father carried water on his head, right? I am carrying water on my head, right? What are you going to do for me in terms of the community? That's what I mean. I didn't mean as an individual thing, right? But also, nothing is wrong in asking for, hey, can you put policy in place that can also develop me as an individual, where I have access to internet, where I have access to, because contrary to popular belief, and Raymond is a rural area educator, Jamaica doesn't have wide internet coverage. Many areas, I've said this over and over on this platform. When you go into the interior of Jamaica, not even cell phone pickup, right? So persons are lacking in that type of infrastructure development and social development where, I mean, I remember one school in Hanover, the principal had to ride bike, go to a particular area, photocopy book, and go to homes dropping them off because they have no internet connection at home for it to use a tablet and stuff like that, right? Now, let me go and say, person is a different era we're in, Silburn, right? I was born in the 70s. I grew up raised in the 80s. How we were raised is different. These kids are raised on a technologically based, and they're going to view things and the world from that standpoint, right? Leaders now have to appeal to these set of people. I won't even put COVID in it. Now let me say something to Mr. Treasure. Andrew inherited a diminishing voting population, and that's a fact. When you look at 2002 coming right up, the voting block has been diminishing right up. So he has inherited this. He has inherited bad policies, bad politics over a 45 year period where persons are turned off from the politics. So this low voter turnout is not any fault of him why he's why you say unpopular. It is not. He inherited this. Also,
if I may come in here, remember, that Jamaica doesn't have a presidential system. Jamaica has a Westminster system, and we vote for MPs. And I'm saying to you, there are constituencies where the MPs, based on their work, they were able to pull out the votes. So in essence, it's not that Jamaicans were going out of their way to vote for Andrew Holness. So Warmington, up to last week, was bragging that nobody can tell him anything because he's the most popular MP in Jamaica, right? So the point they're making is a lot of these young people who have taken over, they are not as popular as the older MPs. The older MPs in Jamaica are still pulling out the votes. The younger ones are barely winning. So Andrew Holness, I'm saying, clearly, as popular as we think he is, has not been able to get votes for some of these newer MPs who are in. It is the older MPs like Delroy, Chuck, and those guys who are still pulling in the bulk of the votes to sustain the thing.
But Raymond, that is unfair. You know why? Hold on. You know why? Because you're not presenting all the facts, right?
Let's I want to stop you right there because we only use Andrew Holness there to highlight the bit about transformational leadership. we don't want to get into.
No, we're not getting into it. What
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying is
no,
that
no. I'm just trying to say. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm not gonna stop you from saying. But what I don't want to get is into is the defense of Andrew Holness or blah blah blah.
no,
Let's.
no, no. I'm not. No,
Raymond
I'm not
made a
defending
point.
Andrew. No. It's not about
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah,
When you look at on the both sides, right, on even on the
yeah,
PMP side with the new people, right? When you look at Damon Crawford is one of my best friends, right? I talk to Damon almost every week, right? What Damon wanted to do in East Rural was transformational politics, transformational leadership, right?
yeah.
He wanted to push, and Raymond can attest to this. He wanted to push education. He wanted to use the bulk of his CDF and push education. And I'm saying, why is the people of this constituency not on board with it? You know what the people them
Put it,
said?
put it this way, blessed, blogging God. Put it this way. Dayton Campbell, who was the MP in my constituency, he spent the bulk of his money on educational projects. When he was doing it, I would have had discussions with him and said, leave those things to the college and the high school, because he was offering CSEC classes and those things, classes. So guess what? The young people benefited from all of that. They got skills, but then the people did not get road, did not get water, did not get the same internet that you referred to, who have votes, because young people now have votes, they decided to vote against him because in their mind, although he used the bulk of his money on education, their infrastructure remained backward. And that is something that younger MPs must understand. They cannot go in and determine what the people want. They must listen to the people. And whether they like it or not, give the people what they want because they will vote you out. And that is something that the older MPs have learned very well.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that the comparison with the older MPs and the new MPs is kind of unbalanced because when you look at the JC Hutchinson, who have been there for 25 years, JC has a machine in place. A new MP like Rhoda Crawford or Karen Samarso don't have that type of machine in place for. So when JC can send out a text, right, and it goes to like 30 groups and galvanize people and move, it's a difference when a new MP who has not implemented a machinery yet. Right, and I'm not talking about those laborers. I'm talking about even on the PMP side. These younger MPs are at a deficit because they don't have the machinery at hand to help them, like in Warmington, who's been there for 30 years or 25 years. It's a total unfair comparison.
Yeah, this is turning down into the Jamaica bit, and I wanted to look at a bigger picture still at the same time. But point taken, because it made sense at the same time as to the psyche and the thinking of the people in order to determine the type of leader that we are looking for and the world need. So therefore, we cannot, Gary, unfortunately, the leaders of the past, they are going out. The ones who went into the war period, they are going out. The Mike Henry and the Delroy Chuck, they are going out. What we're having now is new leaders who are going to have to lead this new set of people out there, and that's a reality. So I'm going to come to you a second, Gary. So therefore, what we're looking at is the democratic leadership, the autocratic leadership, the laissez-faire leadership, strategic leadership, transformational leadership, transactional leadership, coach style leadership, bureaucratic leadership. These are all different type of leadership styles. But maybe what will have to happen is there's going to be what should I say, a bit there and a bit there, because new leaders will have to somehow, as Raymond said and as Lester said, listen to what the people say, and you got to come to the people and then to transform the people. And as what Colette said, looking for platform. Gary.
I just want to highlight a point. I think I can't remember who alluded to it, but I just want to just elaborate on that one point also and to show that it's even happening within leadership within the church. Because when you look at, for instance, like the successful leaders, such as a T.D. Jakes and a Noel Jones and so forth and so forth, people who gravitate towards them, if you notice, they're not going to stand up They're not going to identify with people such as me, who who hasn't who doesn't look successful. Ministries gravitate towards these men. Why? Because they show as if they can make it. They want to be like them. They want to have that, not only the national appeal, they want to have the international appeal. And that is what like the Potter's House and even like the City of Refuge brings, where and other international religious organizations show.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, Sil, is this: that when these men step down, what's going to happen to the people who have gravitated towards them because they want to be successful also? They want to have that appeal. What's going to happen? That is what's happening in this generation to people within even the political arena. They gravitate towards men who show that they can be successful. And sometimes that in and of itself can be dangerous, because the leadership of yesterday at least has taught me that these men, these older men, older women, older individuals, they cut their teeth individually. They stood out there. They made sure that the people, they didn't have a machinery behind them.
Yeah.
Stood out on their own, and they got to know the people. The people got to know them, and so they were able to share a thought, to share a vision that they had for the community, for the nation.
Yeah.
Now we don't have that. It's all about charisma. It's all about me. And I think that this generation really is not really going to know what true leadership is. Because again, and I think it was Lester that alluded to this also to some extent, that the machinery which the older heads have, if you know what they do, some of them do, because they want their legacy to live on, and because they feel that they want what they've worked so hard for to continue to work, if they find an individual that will come under their wings, they will then show them the machinery that they have made, so that when they step off the scene, that machinery continues to work for them.
Yeah.
This generation doesn't want to be taught. They want to sell themselves. And sometimes when they do that off their own back, they fail. They fail.
Yeah, but you see, Gary, again, loyalty is something which is also lacking again, and it's even in the work sector. People are working with agencies, and people headhunt you, and you're working somewhere for 2 months or 3 months or so. You're running with the money, so there's no sense of loyalty as what happened before.
Right.
Things are somewhat, I must say, unfortunately, wishy-washy and finky. I'm sorry, that's how it is looking, and therefore there's got to be a shift, or else we're going to see more of what is happening. And I believe what is happening with the Conservative Party is a classic example, if we're not careful, and with all this world is going.
Why are people, and this is, coming to the UK sector, why are people relying and talking so much on Rishi Sunak? Why? All they're thinking about, Silborn, all they're thinking about is the economy.
Yeah.
If you ask him about anything else, he probably hasn't got a thought about anything else.
Yeah.
And if he fails on the economy because of his background, I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for the nation, because he's selling himself on the platform. I am going to be Mr. Fix It as far as
the economy,
the economy is concerned. And that can't bring everything around. That's not going to bring everything around.
So therefore, we may have a Rishi as a chancellor and a Boris coming back as a prime minister.
No.
I'm just, Lester. Anyway, Lester, what's your last word, boss? I just realized it's after 12. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The truth is, in terms of transformational leadership, the new leader coming in, as Gary said, has to take pages, has to take steps from the older guys, right? Bring their own personality into it, bring technology into it, but you can't dismiss the old persons there. You have to learn from them and say, okay, they did this way, but maybe I can tweak this a bit and do it this way better, right?
Yeah.
And even also how you present yourself. A lot of young people try, as what Gary said, you can't present yourself as Mr. Fix It for all. It has to be a collaborative effort. I will try to do this. I will listen to you. I will try to get the best persons in the best positions, right? To make this a collaborative effort, right? I need feedback. I'm not perfect. I will take criticism, right? I will give apology where needed. I'll fix things where needed to, right? We have to have that engaging type of leadership. We can't do things the old way, right? As a new leader coming in, we can't say, okay, because remember, the old people did things a particular way that we didn't like. You can't come now and say, I'm a new guy, I'm going to do things a new way, but it's only my way. You know.
Yes.
Now with the social media era, it is a very difficult time to be a leader, because everything you do, right? Even if you click like, and I'm telling you this, if you click like on a particular post, right, you can have a firestorm around you, right? A few years ago, the Prime Minister page clicked like on a girl in a bathing suit. Aren't you a married man? This, that, you know, it's you have
Yeah,
to
I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was even Andrew that did it. It was even Andrew, right? So I'm saying, in this era, it is more difficult to be a leader, a good leader, because everything is viewed under a microscope. I mean, if you say something that's out of place or you make a mistake, it is going to be saved and used against you. You have to empower the people around you. You have to empower the people who you're trying to lead, even the people who are against you. You have to try to reach out to.
And when you say against you, that's one of the reasons why I keep saying a lot that this yellow, this green, and this orange need to go at some point, Lester, because when unless you're at a party conference or so, but when people do things for the community or do things for the area or so like that, once you're MP, I think you should not anymore wear green or orange unless you're in a party thing at Belmont Road or whatever like that, because you're now an MP for the whole area, and therefore you've got to sort of demonstrate something like that. I'm just dropping that one there.
Yes, and I understand what you're saying, but you see, there's tribes, there's sects.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I am the MP for the whole constituency. I'm a JLP MP for the whole constituency. But I also like in like Rhoda Crawford, she makes an effort to go to the PMP areas and serve them, and but you know, she's gonna wear green. The thing is that
she don't wear green, does she?
She does.
She shouldn't wear green, man.
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying. What I'm saying.
In silver, it's marketing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, we should reach a point.
The digital leader wears his brand.
Yeah, but we should reach a point where the color doesn't matter. You know that, right. Because I want the politics to go back to when my father used to be active in PMP. And my father PMP, where his cousin is a labor, right? And the two of them walk together, go to them respective meetings. When the meeting over, then come back, they meet at the intersection, go into the bar and drink rum. Because
in their same colors.
The orange and the green shouldn't be a divisive thing to see.
Yes.
It shouldn't be, you know? You should be mature now that I accept that my cousin is a PMP. I accept that my uncle is a labor, right? But you know, about Jamaican, right?
No,
and we're going to work together to make this thing better.
Yeah, point taken. Yeah. Corey, last word. Or
right. Corey? When we see when we see yard kill, right? And no longer Yorkies, and probably integrated with No, Fortis or the Fort York.
Put it this
That's
way,
a
Corey.
shame. It's a shame.
Put it this way,
Collaboration
Corey.
would be
I have more St. Hilda's girls in my sixth form as we speak.
I gotta wait for that. 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 I got my wait for that.
So what I'm doing is responding to the market. So wherever I find quality students, I am pulling them. That's how you build empires, you know. You incorporate the grades from other places.
so
Yes,
so
yes.
absolutely right across the empire. So I believe that leadership should be now nurtured for youngsters to understand that the moment you head it just never happen overnight. It because just like the youngsters, they had ambition and they pick up along the way the tools to make them leaders, compassionate leaders, and the word compassionate, right? You must in here. You can't solve all problems, so that's where and you govern with. They say there's no clean politician, there's no pure politician, right? But your office can be. That's what it is.
Yes.
When you're representing the people, your office can be, right? To change. So whether them on or whether them using Telegram, message must still be clear. You're representing the people and you're passionate. That's where I'm at with it. I'm leaving it right there. Is the world ready for the next generation of leaders? They're always ready.
Yeah. Well, Light Speaker said, I'm aiming for more green in my bank. So let's at least we're not going to move away from that green there. Can I go to Raymond? And Raymond, while you're wrapping up, Raymond, I want you to touch on what you spoke on today in your article on your page, where you say, for the past 2 years, I've been pushing the concept of collaboration in our regional principal group. In my mind, for us to provide world-class opportunities to the children in Region 3, we must collaborate. Last year, St. Anne Best Medal Hall at Champs in over 20 years came out of a collaborative experience with Stairtown, York Castle, and Ferncourt. Westwood and York Castle share the same table tennis coach. Elaborate on this bit here, Raymond, because this is another level of leadership, as well.
Well, the truth is, in rural Jamaica, we don't have the kind of money that a Jamaica college can mobilize, for example, to put in a lab that is worth millions. I don't have Hendrickson to come and put in millions of dollars in a track. We call it artificial turf. So if we are going to get that in St. Anne, we would have to come together as schools to put in that. If we are going to set up a robotic lab, for example, no one school in St. Anne cannot do that. So we would basically have to do it as a group of schools. And the truth is, our schools are not that far from each other.
Yes, that's
Brownstone Community College, for example, came out of a collaboration between all the high schools in that region. I mean, they were struggling to find sixth form teachers and could not. And they decided, let us just run a community college where we pull the best A-level teachers from all the institutions. And that's basically what I'm pushing for. One school will probably never be able to set up motor vehicle maintenance lab to teach students how to repair electric cars. However, if we set up one in the region that all of us can access and the ministry spends the money on this one lab and we bus the students to the lab, then we'll be able to deliver the courses. I find that if we sit and wait on each institution to get these things, we will never get it. But by providing one that is well equipped, all of us can benefit.
And Raymond, one of the points that you flagged up is that this academic year, 2 subjects at York Castle are delivered by teachers from Brownstown High.
Yeah.
I knew you were having some struggle retaining teachers or getting
Right.
teachers. Is
A
that
lot of
one of
them
the
are
ways?
now in England.
I'm sorry, sir.
A lot of them are now in England.
They are now in England.
No,
but the
I
way
lost 10 teachers to the United
It wasn't
States
me.
and the UK.
he lost 10 teachers to the UK.
It wasn't me.
And the United States.
Wow. Gary, are they in Birmingham, Gary, or Reading?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It wasn't me either. I have no idea. But the way you had to deal with that deficit was what you just did by the
Right.
Brownstone. Go on, Raymond, let's that bit there.
Yes. I had to pull teacher. Well, how that worked, to be honest, with the Brownstone High is on a shift system. So
Yes.
those teachers teach from 7 to 12. So from 12 to 3 o'clock, they are free. So it is a win-win situation. They get an additional salary, and I get them. I just timetable them for the afternoon. More schools can do that, and in the end, it
We all win.
creates additional opportunities for the teachers too, because they earn more by collaborating in that way.
Yes. So in a way, we all win then. We all
Yes.
win in this situation. All right. Well, Gary, last word. Any last word, Raymond? Other than that, I brought up.
No,
that bit
basically, and I think Lester made the point.
there.
It's really for leaders, corporate leaders, as you know, respond to the needs of a market. The same principle should apply to public sector leaders. They need to respond to the needs of their constituents, respond to the needs of their clients. I find that we want to dictate to people what they should have as public sector leaders. So we operate maybe schools that are not delivering, students fail, and we say, boys, the students don't.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, the students get up and go elsewhere. But as public sector leaders, we must be prepared to respond to the needs of our clients, of our constituents, or the people will throw us out eventually. No private sector company survives with quality of the services. And we need to look at leadership in the same way. Respond to the needs of the market, of the clients.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Well, thanks for that. And I'm glad for the whole discussion here, looking at all different facets of leadership, and I guess we also have to be a part of that answer as well. Gary, the benediction.
No, I don't have any benediction to give you now. Again, I'll leave that to Lester. But I think that I mean, we've all spoken, and I've listened to everyone even before I got on. I was able to listen to what was being said, and I think we're all, to some extent, we've all shared some ideas of what we would like to see as far as generational leadership is concerned. And all of our opinions, if we have shared, is correct, because really it looks very bleak the way how I'm seeing leadership that's being formed for the here and now. And as a man of the cloth, as one of my colleagues said in one of the shows some months back, I can only hope and pray that God helps us, because I don't see any kind of help or any kind of leadership really that is going to deliver the UK or Jamaica in question, because that's where we're all from.
Yeah.
Is going to really be blessed in any way, shape, or form, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We've passed the 2-hour bracket into 2.5 hours, but it's well worth it. And I want to thank Sir Corey Hyde, internet resident. See, he might live on the internet, Internet him live on, See, Corey don't live on land anymore, He's on the internet. I mean, Sir Raymond Treasure, all the way from Brownstone. You're not in Brownstone now, but I mean you're in Runaway Bay or Priory.
Discovery Bay.
Discovery Bay.
Yes.
Loving God from Netherlands, Gary, somewhere in the world, Birmingham,
Living in the Orange Country.
Orange Country. And thanks for Hannah, who came on earlier tonight. Yes, Gary.
Blogging God. I wasn't gonna say anything much, but I hope you're looking after Vita. I see her. I hear from her for
No,
a long.
Vita is here, man. Vita is here on internet, and Vita is here on.
Yeah, they put the internet.
Vita looking after me.
Yeah. There's Vita there.
All
Vita
right.
there.
Well, I didn't want to say anything much because we don't want Lester come look for me and damage me.
Come on. We're transformational husbands now, so we share.
Okay.
Ooh.
so you share or me share?
All right. I will live with that. But the thing about it, at least we're not seeing Vita anyway, so you're all right.
You can't see Vita.
Can't see Vita.
I thought I had a picture of her, but I can't see. No, I had a picture of her. Anyway, guys, listen, Corey, bless up, Bridget. Raymond, all the best, Raymond, and Lester.
Take care.
All the best.
All right.
All the best.
Everybody, all the best.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you, sir. Cheers. Bye. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and all the best for everyone, for those on the internet and those on Facebook, those on YouTube as well. Remember to like and share the show, and as much as possible to reflect on the topic about leadership of this world, leadership at this time. And we're all leaders as far as I'm concerned. We're all responsible for ourselves, responsible for what we do in our jobs. We are responsible, and the key question is the type of leadership in this world now is, what type are you, and what type do you want to see with the people around you as well? And that is going to be something which is very crucial for the new breed of leaders to actually engage with this new way of how people are with this social media world and everything like that. So without further ado, I want to wish you a good night and see you Saturday night, and all the best. I believe next week Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not too sure, but next week Saturday night I should be having Miss Jamaica Universe. It's not confirmed yet, but I think that should be in the pocket, I believe. Yes, I'm not too sure, but we'll see how that one goes next week if she comes on as well. All right, peace out, and God bless you. Bye-bye.